I was editing this photo of Hallie and Austin. Hallie's my sister, from their wedding last weekend in Arkansas. And I was like a couple hours into editing the photo and realized, oh, this would have been a good how-to video to record. So I'm going to completely start over and show you how I did it. So it probably won't end up looking anything like that, but that's okay. This is close to what it's going to probably end up being. It may have a completely different backdrop because I tried a few different ones, but this is the original. So I would like to show you, if you're interested, how I went from this original to this one, or something close to it. So I'm going to exit those. Lightroom. Okay, so the day before her wedding, Hallie and I went and looked around kind of at the creek where they were going to have their first site, and I was just taking pictures, looking at the lighting and whatnot. I took this photo and I thought, oh, I want to put the couple right where she's standing and have that backdrop. Okay, this was their first site, and I didn't end up recreating that exact pose, but I was really close. Where is my Liz files? Liz. Yeah, this is it. Okay. I took this photo, which was like similar, but not like quite as dramatic, and so I want to go back and change it a little bit. This is the actual original before all the coloring. Okay, so this is the photo I took. It's a little bluer than I usually like to do. A lot of times when I'm shooting in a very time-constrained situation like this ended up being, I'll just put the white balance on auto. I fix it later, which I don't tell any photographers that take my classes to do, but sometimes I do it instead of putting it on a preset like shade or something like that. So first thing I do when I import a photo is I put my own preset on it. This one I built. It's called Blue Curvy Worm. I won't go into like all the details, but literally every photo that I take gets this preset. I like my photos to have a like very subtly matte finish and kind of yellow, so this is basically what that does. Okay, so this is the original. In real life, that water behind them was super blue, and I kind of want to bring that back. I like, for wedding photos especially, to be really close to what it actually looked like. We'll take that back to the original. It's already pretty straight. Sometimes the first thing I'll do is like straighten a photo, but this is pretty straight, so I'm just going to close that. Okay, first off, I'm going to bring up the blues and the saturations here. I'm going to go ahead and switch this to shade preset, and that's usually pretty good. When you do that, you do lose some of those deeper hues, and so I'm going to go back and pull in some contrast. How I edit is I'll pull this contrast all the way to 100, which is nuts, and then pull it down to what I want. Kind of like that, 34, that's about right. And if I have a bride with this color hair, I'll kind of pull down the blacks just to give that a little more contrast. I always let my saturation by like 3 or 4, not a 10. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here. If there weren't any other greens in this photo, I could go in here to hue and change just the green to like be more blue. What I don't like about that is look at her bouquet when I do that. I mean, it makes it pop, but it looks really fake, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to go in here with a brush and do temperature, pull it down crazy blue so I can see where I'm painting. And there's 2 ways to do it. You can go up here to the edge, get really, really close, or you can go over and then go in here and erase. I am going to get really, really close. This has a little bit of a feather on it, that outer ring you can see, so it's not just like a sharp edge. Depending on what you're painting, you may want a sharp edge. I do not right now. Okay, so we're going to bring this way down, tiny, tiny brush, and zoom in and get right on the edge of his jacket. And if I color outside the lines a little bit and get some blue on his jacket, that's okay, because I can erase it. And I have a little bit of a delay right now in my brush, probably because I'm recording my screen, and that is rather annoying, but we're just going to go with it. Okay. That's pretty good. You really don't want there to be an edge, but once I turn this to a normal blue, it probably will be fine. Go around here. See, that delay is killing me right now. Come on. Okay. Make my brush even tinier, because I really need to get close. The thing is, like, when I zoom out, you're really not going to see any of those edges anyways, but if this couple were to print this photo as like a 20 by 30, like some huge print, you might see the edges, and that would be terrible. I don't want anyone to ever look at my photos and think, oh wow, yeah, she did a really good job photoshopping that. I want them to look at the photos and be like, man, I look good. So that's what we're trying to make it look like I didn't spend hours on it. So when you have these little stray hairs, which are gorgeous in the photo but very difficult to work with, I kind of just dot around them. And I think that's the best way to handle it. That's pretty good. Let me get closer here, closer under her chin. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And now we're going to make this a normal blue because they're not in the Caribbean. Okay. Probably 20 is where I'm going to be at. Is that right? Yeah. I don't want to overdo it. That's about, in real life, maybe even been bluer than that. It was about there, really. It was incredible, this creek was like so gorgeous. Okay, that's good. I don't see the edges around them, which is great. Even if I were to blow that up, I'm not going to see any edges. And I don't think I even need to erase where I went over the line, but I'm going to anyways because, just in case. Okay, so when I hit Alt, I'm going to be able to erase, but I think I'm at 40. Yeah, okay, so I need to pull it to 100, so I'll really erase. There's, I mean, like barely a feather on this. If I was being super exact on an edge, I could make it no feather, but I don't need to. Okay. I think that's all the brushing I'm going to do. I may go in and brush his face just a little bit. It was absolutely freezing that day. And so I'm lucky that their noses weren't really red. But I am going to brush his face just a tiny bit because he looks a little bit cold to me. Okay. Okay, so this, I use their presets a lot in Lightroom, and they have one that's Soften Skin, and it's pretty good. I use Skin 72, which is one I made, so it's Soften Skin, but just at 72. It is not complicated. And I'm going to brush it there, and brush there. When you do that, obviously it takes away a lot of shadows and highlights. So sometimes I'll go back in and put some of them. With a guy, I usually will just do some burning on like their jaw because that's manly. And I'm going to do a tiny bit because he's so blonde with his eyebrow, just so I can see that. Very cool. I love their hair tones together. It's amazing. Okay. And I'm gonna, that's a little dramatic, so we're gonna pull it just down to like 15, if that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Don't think I want to brush anything else. I'm gonna get just a little spot to go away. Okay, this is at 100. I'm just gonna get this little spot. Perfect. I never correct, you know, like things that are permanent, but if someone wakes up and they have a little zit on their wedding day, they don't want that for the rest of their life. So we'll fix it. Okay. Fit. Oh, that looks so much better. Okay. I love it. I love it. I don't think I really need to do anything else besides their midtones before I export it. So sometimes the last thing I'll do is just adjust some of those midtones. I'll go way up here to the highlights. Let's see, where's her dress at? Right there. I'll go up here to the highlights and just... Okay, see when I did that, it made it like more contrasty. And now that I'm looking at it, it looks...
Mom.
Yes, sweetie. Hurry.
Please sit and wrap now, please.
Nope, I'm working. You can go play with Anne, and I'll be done in just a little bit. Okay, bye. Don't get in trouble. Just go.
Mommy,
What?
can I please just stay in your lap?
No, sweetie, because I'm working, and Anne is here to play with you. Please go play with her, and I'll be out in just a little bit more, okay? Go. Don't step on my computer. Watch out for the laptop. Hey, I'll complain a little bit. Please go now. 1.
I'm just like a swan.
You are like a sloth, but please go.
I will go.
Okay. Mommy's working when I'm in here, remember? Can you please shut the door? I love you. That was fun. Okay, so that water is looking just a little bit blue now to me, which is funny. So I've been looking at it too long. But I'm just going to turn it down a little bit because I don't want it to look photoshopped or dramatic. Let's do 21. Okay, that really didn't change it that much, but I feel better about it. Okay, so I'm going to export that into Photoshop. And this is... I'm going to call it the How To Edited in LR, so I know what I'm talking about. And it's going to open it in Photoshop. So that's exporting. I have a babysitter that comes Tuesdays and Thursdays so I can get work done. And she's awesome. And sometimes I get those happy little interruptions for snuggles. Always at super convenient times. Okay. Okay, so here it is in Photoshop. And I love it. So I do love this photo. I just wish that these lines, these horizon lines, whatever you want to call them, were brought down to here, basically. I even love that backdrop, and we may even end up sticking with that instead of doing what I showed you at the beginning of the video. But we'll see. We're going to give ourselves a couple options. So first, I'm going to go in here and copy how I edited that, except for the brush. And I'm going to apply it to the backdrops that I want. So, okay, first of all, there was this backdrop. And that's like the whole thing, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm going to paste the settings. That's a little dark, so I'm going to just up the exposure a little bit. That's pretty good. And this is pretty distorted. Obviously, I shot it at 19 millimeters up here. So you're going to have a little distortion with that. I'm going to do some manual. And I don't mind if I lose those trees on top because they're a little overexposed anyways. Kind of like that. Okay. So that works. I guess I'll go ahead and crop it. I really don't need to. Okay. I'm going to export that with the same How to Edit. And this is the backdrop. We'll call it backdrop A. Okay. Export that. Okay. And we'll see how that looks. And then I'm going to do one more backdrop. And that was the one that I had showed you at the beginning, just to see if it works. I don't know if I'll love it as much. But so this was taken on a different day. So pasting my settings in this might not work, but we're just going to try. Yeah, see, it's too yellow. Okay. So let's just do daylight and see. and maybe a little more contrast, a little bit brightish. Okay, and we'll export that also. Backdrop, B, oh, not AB, B. Okay. So now, when it exports, we're going to have 3 backdrops to choose from. I do not usually do this amount of stuff with my editing, but that's why I decided to record it, because it's kind of cool. And I just really love that pattern, so I may just end up using what we have instead of doing these 2. But it's okay. It's nice to have options. Okay. Stretch and put the glasses on. So the first thing we're going to do is duplicate the background so I keep an original copy. And I want to pull them off of the background so I can mess with them. So selection tool, I'm just going to do a quick selection real quick. Get their bodies and all of their hair. Here, make sure I have all the bits and pieces of their hair and the flowers. This tool always, you need a little help and guidance with it, and it's going to select a whole bunch of extra stuff. But I don't care. This may not be the quickest way to do it, but me. Okay. Now I want to make sure I get those leaves. That's going to happen when you do quick selection. I'm going to leave that one off because I don't think it's super necessary. Okay. Do that. So what I'm going to do is cut them off. And I'm also, just to make sure I have enough of the background to work with, I'm going to keep a little bit of these rocks. I'm going to show you something cool in a minute. Okay. And I'm going to cut those also. So, let me show you what we've done. We have them alone, plus some stuff that we're going to delete. We have those rocks, and we have the backdrop without the people. So, for this, if I were to, well, let's just do this first. I'm going to make this the backdrop. So we're going to scale it. Basically, I want to bring these lines down like I talked about earlier. So to do that, we're just going to make it bigger. When you do this, you're changing pixels and stuff, so it can be a little tricky. Like right there, I think that's too big. So let's try that. We'll turn these on to see the scale. I think that's going to work okay. And then we can move it to get a lot of that shadow going. Oh, I really like that. I kind of want that black, right? Okay. So, here's the tricky thing. You want to keep this. I don't remember how I did it the first time. We're going to try it. Okay, I'm mumbling too much, but we're going to go on the background and I'm going to select, because we really need that gradual fade with the rocks. I'm going to select that and copy it. So it doesn't pull it off the background, it just copies it. And that needs to be above that backdrop. And then moved down. That's pretty much what I want, but I still feel like that line is a little high. And I really think the best way to do that is to make that bigger. That's what we're going to do. What is above it? Oh, this. I need to switch. So this is the rocks, and I'm just going to go ahead and label them so I don't keep getting confused. Rocks. Couple. Coast. Backdrop. Okay. I want the coast above the rocks. Okay. So we need to get this basically in the right spot, and we're going to patch all this together and it's going to look fine. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I want. Okay, so now we got to go into them and delete all this extra junk. And, oh no, see right here? Wah, wah. I wasn't careful enough and we cut into her dress, and that is not okay. So I'm going to select a little bit of that. It was about here, I think. I'm going to copy that, pull it up above the couple, turn on everything. Okay, and we have it back. Oh, okay, much better. Okay, so now we can go in and select all the junk. And I'm going to use the lasso, magnetic lasso, and I'm feathering it at 3 pixels to keep it soft on the edges. And we are going to start with their faces because that is the easiest. That and their dress, probably. Okay, I'm going to start right here on the skin, and I'm wanting to keep it really, really tight. But see how this magic tool basically knows what I'm trying to do? Basically. Pull in here, that might be a little too deep, so let's make sure it's not. And you never want to do too big of a selection at a time, or you might make a mistake. You have to start over on the selection. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I want to make sure that that line is not from the original backdrop. It's on the rock. Okay, and I'm going to just keep selecting around her nose. I'm really trying to make sure that I don't keep any of that original backdrop, or you will have a line, and I might have some right here. So let's see. I think I do. Yep. See how there's like this dark line? Not a big deal unless they blow it up to a huge print. So, in case they do, yay! Perfect. I like it a lot. Okay, go in here. This is a really nice, easy line here. And here's a hair that we don't want to lose. Right on her jaw. She has the best jaw. That is such a good jawline. She's so pretty. Okay, and delete. We're still at a feather of 3 pixels, but I think that that's going to be perfect throughout the whole cutting process. Yay! I love it. That's kind of perfect. Oh, good job, Liz. Thanks. Okay, go in and do her dress. And this is really, it's funny because like when you look at it from, it looks like this straight line, but when you look up close, because it was so exquisitely beaded, there's all these little bumps, which are super fun to deal with. Okay, so the good thing about this, anytime you have like this clear fabric over, is I feel like it is going to be pretty forgiving on the lines. Still don't want to do too big of a selection, so I don't have to start over if I make a mistake. Okay, yeah. Oh, I love this tool. It's such a good tool. I don't want to tell you how long I used this tool before I realized there was that feather thing up in the corner. It was quite frustrating when I found out. Okay. Hint, it was a really long time. That is turning out pretty good, I think. Sometimes when I get into it and I'm like way up close like that, I need to back off, zoom out, and make sure what I'm doing is still working. And I think that it is, which is great. Here comes Hadeline, I think. Yep. Hadeline, I'm still working. Oh. Hey, where was I? I have no idea. Let's just keep cutting. Okay. Okay, the skin on his face should be the same as far as feathering the pixels. Awesome. This is going well. Way out here. I don't want to cut off his hair. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. So the thing is, if you weren't feathering, you would have a very, very sharp edge. It would literally look like you cut this picture of them out of a magazine and like taped it onto the backdrop. Not good. Pull it out. Hopefully it won't look that way when we are done. I think I may have cut off too much of his chin, so let's see. Oh, no, I actually didn't cut off enough. Okay. You're just like the tiniest bit right there, so. Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go in here. This is pretty soft, this edge between them and the backdrop, so it's good that we're able to replicate that. This is a bit tedious, which is why I was frustrated when I realized, like, I really should have been recording this the first time I did it. Classic Liz. Okay. I like that too. We're gonna have some issues, I guarantee, when we get back here on the hair, but I will show you how I do that. We may have to do like the cooking show thing where we fast forward all this because I know it's probably pretty boring for other people to watch. Let's go around here. I probably do more clicks than I really need to, but after, you work so hard on it. See, I'm not even clicking and it selects, and I know that, but I just always click because even with Photoshop, I'm a control freak and I like to tell it exactly where I want it to be. Okay. So we're clear now. All through here, there's no original backdrop until we get up to their hair. Hair is tricky. So what I actually usually do is I switch between the magnetic lasso and the eraser. So I'm at 100% hardness. I don't want that at all. I want it to be pretty soft. And go in here. Hair is tricky, I tell you. So I'll get real close, but I don't want to cut off any hairs because that is when things look weird. So come here. Her, at least like right here, is super similar to the backdrop, so that's, but it's also really similar to her hair color, and that's what's tricky. It'd be really easy to select hair along with the backdrop. Okay, come in here and get close to the leaves, but I'm not gonna actually. Okay, all of that can be erased. Get close, but I don't want to lose any of that. Okay. Same here. Why did that not erase? So I'm getting close, but not right on it. Okay. Okay, so when I get down here, I'm going to make sure and select around rocks so that the edge that we end up with makes sense. And right here, right on that green right there, I am going to let myself lose one little floral branch up here. Sorry, Maggie, but it's easier. Okay. Come up here. This part is so tricky. This is like the same as dealing with hair. You just have to like do your best and keep the edges that are important. Okay, delete that. Let's see. Okay, so you know what I think I'm gonna do? We'll put the backdrop on and kind of see what works, but do you see how you can see the rocks through the fabric of her dress? That's gonna give me an edge of the original backdrop that I really don't want. And so I think I'm gonna like cut that off. Yeah, sorry, Ellie. I really don't want any original backdrop coloring. Okay, keep the edge of the leaf if I can. Get way up in there and delete that. Yeah, that's better. Okay. We're going to have to change some stuff, but you get the idea. And I may need to, in a second, take a break from the cutting and put in the backdrop in that spot so we can see what we're doing, but for now it's all right. Go around that leaf. This is tedious, I tell you, but the end product will probably be like super worth it. So, okay, I have a lot of edges on him that are not gonna work. See this line right here? That's actually original backdrop, that little white line. So, okay, so what we need to do, oops, not that way. Let's get more of that backdrop solid. Okay. Oh, stretch first because it's important. Okay. I'm gonna work on having this backdrop be super solid. Okay. This is the backdrop that we are probably gonna stick with. So I want to make all this better. This coast right here is exactly how I want it to be. So we need to get rid of this horizon line. Okay, cool. Backdrop needs to be there, coast needs to be above the rocks, couple is on. Okay, so on the backdrop, I just did a whole bunch of stuff that didn't work. And so kind of took myself, I went back in my history and deleted a bunch of stuff. So we're backing up a little bit and that's okay. Basically what I did was reorder. So I put the backdrop over here above the coast and the rocks. That's it. And now I need to change my eraser to 100% again. I'm erasing off of the backdrop to keep some of these rocks that are by their feet. And I want to be able to see that coast. So what I did that I'm not showing is I was doing this and I erased way up here and it was too close to the backdrop and it didn't work. So I'm going to be a little more careful. And now I'm going to give myself a huge amount of feather. I'm making this a really soft brush. Yeah, that looks better. I think that looks pretty good for the edge once we fix all this junk. Okay. So when you look at the actual backdrop that I have, that's it. We're missing this chunk and we kind of need to put that back. So I am going to duplicate the backdrop. And we're just going to see what happens when I move this one. I'm going to hit shift so it stays in the same place. I can't go up or down with it. It's only going to go horizontal to keep that line. And I think that this should work. If it doesn't, we'll figure out something else. I think that's going to work. Okay. So I'm going to merge these layers together so they're one backdrop. And what I want to do is get rid of this line where I obviously cut them out. I'm going to go into my patch tool, kind of select that line and tell it not to do that. There's a million ways to do literally everything that I have done. And these are just the ways that I did them today. And I do not know all of the different ways because I've only been doing Photoshop for like 8 years. So, okay. That's pretty good. I feel like I can still see It may just be my imagination, but I feel like I can still see a line, so I'm going to pull that. That looks pretty good. Okay. And I want to lose this line in the water. And lose this line in the water. That is all pretty good, I think. So when we put the figures back and the coast, that is looking good. Alright, okay. I don't think I'm going to need those rocks. I don't think I'm going to need the backdrop. So we're going to leave those off for now. So now what we need to work on are these rocks here, that continuity, and whatever's happening back there. And I believe, yep, that's where it is. Okay, we're going to basically do the same thing that we just did with the bluff on this coast layer. And it may work and it may not, because rocks, these little pebbles, are going to be super complicated. So I just made a copy. Oh, I don't want to do that yet. What I want to do is delete these. And I'm just going to do, I'm going to do quick selection. Let's see if that works. Delete that. Whoop, see, that doesn't always work. Nope, nope. Delete that. And since that selection's being weird, I'm going to go back to my magnetic lasso. Kind of quickly get those plants out, get her hair out. I think that probably is going to work. Okay, that is a really rough selection, but I think it's going to be fine. Okay, so now I'm going to copy my coast layer and do the same thing I did. I'm not totally sure it's going to work. Shift so it doesn't go up or down. Pull it over. But I want this to be under because, yeah. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. And then, if that's not too repetitive, and I don't think it is, I do that. And then I'm going to go back into my patch tool and do what we did. And you can probably hear my daughter playing the piano. That might be Ruger playing the piano, actually. They're so talented. Okay, you gotta be careful with these rocks because you don't want to repeat the patterns too much. I think that looks pretty good though. Like if you were to look at that, you're not gonna see a repeat. I don't really see a repeat. I see this guy and this guy, so I may just change him. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Oh, okay. And now when I put them back, it's going to be a lot easier. Oh, yay. I'm glad we figured that out together. So this still has that going on for it. I thought that was on the couple layer, but it's not. It's on the backdrop layer. And so, okay. Oh! Let's see what happened here. I hope I'm not muttering too much. But whatevs. Okay. Go in here, let's see. 0 hardness, that's really what I want. 100 opacity, it's good. Okay, I want to only on the backdrop. Yeah, so we're not deleting her dress. Just get rid of that weird water. Okay. Ooh, I'm putting in. Ooh, okay, cool. Putting in a little bit. Okay, this is what I'm seeing now though. See how the water from the backdrop is different than the water from the coast. So what I think is going to work now is go back and change my opacity. Ooh, too far. Maybe even change it to less. Oh, okay, change it to less. And go in. I think that is going to be okay. I don't think that looks weird. I hope it doesn't look weird to you. It looks good to me. I think that's fine. Oh, yay! Is this in the background? Yeah. Okay, so opacity at 100. And just to make sure we got everything, let's turn everything else off. See, so we have some that we missed. So let's take that off, and that's a little hard right there. So I think that's pretty good. looks pretty good. We never finished cutting out Hallie and Austin, but now that we've perfected the backdrop, we can do it. Break. Okay. She's coming again. May I help you? Okay. So we just had a nice little interruption again, which really is fine. I'm going to go in and finish cutting out Hallie and Austin. So do you see, we had kind of talked about it before, but see these little bright lines beside his legs and the flowers? You can still see the rocks. And then her hair is going to take a lot of work, but fortunately that coloring in the rock is not too different. I think the edge of the dress and the edge of their feet, you all need a lot of work. So let's just zoom in and get it done. Okay, we'll start with his hair. His hair is going to be, knock on wood, fairly easy because of the coloring of it and the backdrop. I think I may get away with just erasing, not very hard, really, really tiny, really tiny, tinier. Yep. And we'll see how that goes. Oh, I erased the backdrop. You always want to make sure you're on the right layer. Okay. See, even that I feel like is too big of a brush. So we're going to just do the parts that are major, and then we'll go in with a littler brush. This part, I'm telling you, I wish everyone in the world was bald. It would make my job so much easier. Here we go. And we're going to come in, but we want to, you do have to keep like his actual hairs. Cool. It needs to be a little bit softer. He has like these little cowlicks back here. You don't want to get rid of stuff like that, because then their head would look funny. Okay, that's gonna look pretty good. I'm gonna go in probably and soften it, but that is a little funky. So we'll definitely go in with a smaller brush there. And it's actually kind of hard to distinguish like what is actually his hair because of that like lens blur, but it's alright. He's got it kind of like combed and like curled, but like combed to the side that way, which is cool. So it gives it a little bit of a curved shape. Here, that is a good. Right. Yeah, cool. Okay. That looks mostly good except for just a couple spots. We're going to pull that down even further. And then when things like that are just, I don't know, too hard or too defined, I guess, I'm going to keep the hardness low and go in here to opacity. Yeah, and just make it minor. So go and make that a soft edge. I think that that's pretty good. It's kind of hard after you've been looking at the same thing for a while to like actually see it for what it is, but I think that that's pretty good. Yeah, he doesn't look cut out to me. Now we may play with the brightness and stuff of them in a second, but oh, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, we've already done Hallie's hair some. Okay, so where are we now? We were just finishing up his, so we want to do pretty close to 100. Get just real close to her hair here. And then change the size a lot. So she has these really, I don't know if you can even see them, really faint, really soft curls that we don't want to lose. Now, fortunately, this backdrop showed right here. Her hair was over the water originally, and this backdrop, even if I keep a tiny bit of those blue tones, you really can't see it. So it's all right. Okay, opacity down right here because I don't want to lose the hair, but I want to lose the backdrop. And then, oh, it looks a little funky up here. So let's, yeah. Here we go. I think that's good as that. Right here, we want to lose a little bit because that's original. Whoa! Opacity. Where was I? Right here. That's not her hair right there. That's the original backdrop. And that's tricky because her hair is like the exact same color as that original rock. So put it right here. I think that looks pretty good. I'm still seeing a little too much blue in some places when I squint. Okay, cool. And down here we want to soften that. So bring that way down. Here, that's a little too much. Here I'm going to do 76. Just anywhere where there's like a big space. And then on these edges, 36, that may even be too much, but let's just see. No, I think that's all right. I clicked twice in a couple, so that was like more like 60 because I clicked twice. It's pretty good. We treat these leaves the same as we're treating the hair. So 38 really needs to be more. Okay, let's try it again. So going in here and just keeping what we have to. Here's rocks. Get rid of all those. I'm going to get rid of this twig. Oh, I think I'm going to get rid of it starting at that leaf so it's not weird. We need to do all the way, I'm afraid. Okay. You really don't want any highlights from those rocks to stay. I kind of slipped there, but that's okay. That's tricky because you don't want to lose the foliage. Okay, and move my brush size, get it real tiny. It is so tempting right now just to like chop that off, but yeah. This is what keeps it from looking photoshopped, is really paying attention to these details. And we're going to soften it in a second. See how there's highlights? You just can't have those. Okay, so now I'm going to go with a bigger brush and just see what we can do. Yep, see, so that just softens it so you don't see those highlights, but you still kind of have an edge. And then, exhausted. Okay, so we're back to magnetic selection here. It magically knows what I'm trying to do. These are rocks in the original backdrop that were too close to her white of her dress. I'm actually thinking that feather was too much, so we are going to do a 1 pixel feather here and then go back and redo that. Because that is, see how that is actually a pretty sharp edge. Their faces were not. This is sharper. Do that one more time. Yep, better. Better, better, better. Okay. Okay, so her hair looks good. See, we do have a little bit of those green tones, but it really is going to be okay against that backdrop. I think that works. The only thing that looks a little bit cut out to me is near the bottom of her dress. So we'll go in now and look at that. I think the flowers that we did on the left side look pretty good. Whoa, lost it. Okay, so what the reason it looks cut out down here, whoa, down here is because of the rocks. See, there's a rock there, there's a rock, these rocks. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to 3 pixels of the softening, and this edge right here has some rocks. I really, like I said before, I don't really have to be clicking as much as I am using this tool, but that's how I roll. Okay, that's nice, that softened it, and then I'm going to come in here, use that. Soften this one. It's like her dress has teeth. And it doesn't have teeth, it's a wedding dress. Okay. Right here, I'm going to erase some stuff so I can do what I just said with Hallie's dress over here as well. I'm going to erase some of this, and then at the end, when I flatten it, I'm going to make this transition from the coast to the couple layer make a little more sense. So basically we've changed what he's standing on. So, but I don't want to just cut a rock in half. I really need to follow the natural lines that it had. So that's going to work really well when we go in and we transition it. Some of these rocks have been cut in half from when I was just doing my rough erasing. So the ones that have, I'm going to come in and erase. It just, when you cut them in half, it gives them too rough of an edge. This one's cut too. I'm going to have to go back and erase that. Like right there, that doesn't work. But I think we can get away with this front pale one. Okay. Is that? That's going to work for me later. Now, he's got way too much of the original backdrop lines up here. So we will go up the pants. I think actually we just did this. Yeah, that's there. And we'll fix that. So let's just start here. Basically, we just want to get rid of this. Oh, there's a mistake. See? Okay. We want to get rid of this rim around the pants, and I think that didn't work too well, so we're going to try again. And I'm at 3 pixels softening still, which is perfect for this edge. Photoshop is trying to figure out what I'm doing, and it's doing a pretty good job. I'm wondering if that's still too bright. I think it is. So let's make it 4 pixels, and we'll start at the top and kind of see what that does. Right through here, he doesn't have too much of a line right there, but we'll just keep it going. All the way down here and around the leaf. And I'm going to let Photoshop do the dragging. Maybe I'm clicking too much. Right there. Out and over. And I'm going to lose that tip of the leaf, but I think with 4 pixel softening, we're going to be okay. Yeah, see. I think it's pretty good. We're just going to do it a couple times. It's cool. I may just have to start recording when I edit because, in case I do something cool, because I don't want to have to do anything twice again. Okay, this part's not going to be super fun. I have to go back, just like we did with the hair, and I just hate that part, but it's okay. Okay, really, really small. Why is it, oh, I changed the opacity up here. And let's just start getting rid of stuff. Really only want to get rid of the backdrop, and we're going to soften all this at the end. We've got to get rid of all of those highlights without getting rid of the edge of the plants, which is really difficult, and we are going to lose some plants doing this, but hopefully not too many. I'm being honestly kind of messy with it, but it's because I'm really tired. Okay. Make this really small now. Get in there and do these little outlines. It's gonna look better though, I'm telling you, it's gonna be worth it when it's done. It's just like super annoying right now. If I did this with every photo, people would never get their wedding photos back. So, I'll do another how-to sometime of like a normal photo when I'm not changing the entire backdrop. And you'll see, it's not this bad every time. But it's cool that I can when I need to, you know? Okay, I'm gonna go around here and get rid of those highlights. Cool, I love it. Okay. And now we're gonna bring that up and make the opacity pretty low because I'm gonna have to do it a couple times. And I may get rid of that because I don't know that it's adding to the photo, you know? It may end up making her foliage look messy, and it definitely was not too messy. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little worried that highlight is going to be too much, so let's see. But it may end up just looking... I'm trying to figure out what parts I can get rid of. I think I can get rid of this. Stop, mouse. Tell you. Okay. A little bit more. I'm going to get rid of that because I feel like it's distracting. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that too. I'm surprised that I'm getting rid of so much, but I just always try to think if they blow this up, like what are they going to see? And it needs to be just as perfect blown up as it is from far away. So I'm really happy with that. Oh, yay. I'm really happy with that. Oh, that makes me happy. Okay. Guys, I think we're done cutting them out. That took so long. I don't think they're too sharp anywhere. So that's good, except for the rocks at the bottom, which is going to be easy to fix. Oh, hallelujah. Okay. I love it. Watch me find something when we're done. But I think it's all right. Okay, so what we've done is we have created a perfect backdrop, a perfectly cut out couple right there. And the good thing about that is now if we want, we can switch the backdrop. And I am going to show you how one would do that. I really love this backdrop, but I feel like that could be really cool too. So I'm going to try that. And we would need to put it on top of that backdrop. What we would have to do is enlarge it. And that's pretty cool, but like, I don't know. To me, that looks a little more fake. But maybe it's just because I know what it looks like in real life. I don't hate it. Maybe it's because it's too bright. So let's edit that image to be just a little bit darker. Oh yeah. Oh, that looks way better. Oh no, now it's a hard choice. Obviously this would need a lot of work at the bottom, but like, I kind of love that. Let's try making it bigger and a little. When I make it bigger, it'll naturally be a little bit blurrier. Oh no, I like it. What am I gonna do? I really like it too. Okay, this is cool. So like, just to show you how different it can be, like this spot right here, this little spot, is that entire backdrop. And this is a little bit out of focus because I had to enlarge it so much. So I'm wondering if that is making it look fake. It's hard. I'm going to have to get someone else's opinion. I don't know which backdrop to choose. What was the other backdrop? Oh yeah. See, I totally forgot about it. I think I'm gonna like these other two better, but let's just try it for kicks. Let's pull this to there and like put it. That's funny. I think I should leave this little blue figure of Hallie in there. It gives me the giggles. I think I've been doing this too long. Okay, that's kind of awesome, but there would have to be a lot of coast work, and this is not white balanced the same, and I don't like those weeds. Could enlarge it. No, I don't think we need that one anymore. I think that we achieved what we wanted to from that photo, but I actually like these two backdrops more. Cool. So it actually worked out better. So do I want that one or do I want this one? That is so hard to choose. Maybe we'll do both and I'll separate them in the gallery so they don't realize what I did, except they are going to realize what I did because I'm posting this how-to video. Okay. I don't need this. I don't need this. I think I'm just going to keep that. I don't know why, but I just like it better. First, I'm going to save this whole Photoshop document as a Photoshop document to keep the layers, because what I'm really going to do is come back here in a day or two and decide which one I like better, because when you've been working with an image for this long, you've got to take a break before it's finished to really like see what you've done. And right now in this moment I cannot decide if it looks fake in Photoshopped or not, so we'll decide later. If I keep this one, I'm obviously going to have to do a lot of coast work and get rid of those images down there. So for now, let's just say that this is going to be the finished product. I've already saved it as a Photoshop document. And so now, yeah, okay. So now I'm going to delete that. I'm going to say this is what I'm keeping, just to show you how I would finish it out. I'm just going to make sure that they're not too sharp and such. Okay. Yeah, I think they're good. Okay. I did tell you I was going to mess with their brightness a little bit just to make sure it's what I want. Image adjustments, same thing we just did with the other backdrop. Make them a little bit darker so they don't like stand out so much, you know. I think that that's better. That's what we like. I think that they blend a little more, which in this case, because it's a fake backdrop, I do want them to blend a little bit more. Cool. Okay. I'm going to flatten all of it so that I can go work on those rocks down there. Cool. Okay, I'm zooming in all the way at the bottom, and I'm going to work on this situation we have. Okay. I think the best thing to do is going to be to patch it. And I want to patch it, it's going to feather, but I want to patch it around the shape of these rocks just to keep it as realistic as possible. I'm just going to bring it over to that. See how much it feathered? Let's see how it looks. Not loving it. Let's try it again. We'll do a smaller selection. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I think that worked. We may just have to do a few rocks at a time, and that's okay. Because when you've been working on something this long, it 100% better be perfect when I'm done. I've only been using this patch tool for a few years, which is really funny. I mean, I always knew it was there, but I just never used it. I did things a much longer way, and I'm not doing that anymore. I still feel like, even though we worked on that a lot, I feel like it could be a little bit less sharp. And I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to blur it just a tiny, like tiny bit. I'm going to get this really far down. Make it a pretty hard brush. Strength, I'm going to do it like 80-ish. And then, yeah, okay, see, that's better. Just work on the edge to make it look a little more of a natural, I'm going to do that over here too, of a natural transition. I'm not going to do that there because there should be, and here, because there should be a sharp transition there. And I may do it on their heads, on their hair. Do I like that better? I'm going to do it just a little bit on his head and a little bit on hers. Not a lot. I think that that's pretty perfect. Like, as perfect as it could be, with being like a totally fake image. Awesome. I love it. I'm all about shooting things in RAW the way that you're going to keep them, but in this case, I like had this image in my head and I was so upset that I didn't like get it exactly the way I wanted, and I really think that doing this was totally worth it. I saw just now like a tiny sliver over here that got erased, so I am just gonna, like barely, not that much, crop it in, yeah, there, and I think that's better. I'm gonna undo it just to make sure that's what I want. Yeah, and then I'm going to redo it. Yep, perfect. Okay, cool. Okay, I think this is the finished image. Oh, I can't believe it's finally done. I really like it a lot. And what I always do at the end, I guarantee you I'm going to want this in color, but I always just see, like, would I like this better in black and white? Because there have been times that I've been shocked, so. And no, definitely not. We're not doing that. Okay, cool. That's the finished image, guys. I love it. If you watched this whole thing, kudos to you. You now know everything. Save as a JPEG. Perfect. Place. Yeah. It's always you, always be. Okay. It is done. And I love it. Let's just take a look at the before one more time. So, this was the before, and this is the after, and I think it's much better. Thanks for sticking with me. The end.
It takes forever.
It does take forever. Can you wait for, I have 1 more hour left, okay?
Okay.
Okay, can you shut the door? Love you.
Can I please draw paper with the Sharpie, please?
Oh, when I'm done, we can do Sharpies and paper.
Well,
Okay, when Anne goes home. Go play with Anne.
Well, okay.
Where is Anne? Is she outside?
Yeah.
Okay, go with her, please. I love you. My babies.
Mom, did you get those texts on your phone?
I did. It was so cute.
Can I see on your phone?
Yeah. So cute. Here. You look like Framer.
Yeah.
Alright, go play.
I just wanted to see.
Yeah, I love you. I have no idea where I was. Okay. Erasing. You playing on the piano?
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm really close to done. Okay?
But you said I'm kind with you.
No, I definitely didn't say that. I said I'll be done about 2:30. Okay? I'm making a how-to video. And you're in it. Bye.
Then I'll just have to stay with you.
No, you can go play, and I'll be out in a little bit.
No.
Yeah. Go play.
Come on, Hattie.
Did you see that viral video of the guy working?
Yes, and his kids walk in, and there's like a baby
Yeah.
that just runs
It's
in
hilarious.
his little walker.
That's
Can
just
I
like
watch?
this, except I'm going to edit it out.
Can I watch?
What?
Can I watch the movie?
Yep, as soon as I'm done, but you got to get out so
No,
I can
on
finish it.
Aunt's phone.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.